You're watching the Mid Atlantic Lectureship. Changes ahead, embracing change.
At this time, we're going to have Brother Wilkie come and introduce the next speaker. So this time, Brother Wilkie's going to come and introduce the next speaker.
Amen. Good to see y'all here. God bless y'all. Appreciate y'all. I will be coming back later in the program, but I want to bring up someone that has become my friend. His name is Russell Johnson. He's from the Solomon Foundation. Now, they had planned to spend the weekend with us, but we want to keep Brother Russell Johnson's wife in prayer. He had surgery, and he won't be able to stay the weekend, so he has to go and he has to catch a plane. But I wanted to give him 5 to 7 minutes or so to say something to you. He has blessed the churches of Christ financially, helping us get loans where we get loans. He has helped us refinance, and they just don't get money. They get involved in the planning. As a matter of fact, he's helping Edgewood, and at the time, we were getting ready to go into a bad deal. And Solomon Foundation said, Brother Wilkie, this is not a good deal. And so we pulled out of it, and I just thank God for sending Russell my way, because they're just not in it for the money. They have a heart for growing churches. And so I want to give Russell his time. He's been very important to the Church of Christ in this area, and I know he's helped a lot of the preachers. I know the preachers are in here, so to say amen. But he's been a blessing to us. We'll see a lot more of him, but I want to give him his time, and so that he can go and be with his wife, amen. So let's give him a hand, Brother Russell Johnson.
You know, it's exciting to see people on a Thursday night gathering, singing and sharing that there's a living hope and a loving Savior. You know, tonight over in Red Square in Moscow, Russia, lies a casket. It's a glass casket. They put the atheist Vladimir Lenin in a crystal clear glass casket. On the outside of this leader that helped give birth to communism over there, he is written in this stone. It says, he was the greatest leader of all peoples, of all nations, of all times. He was the Lord of the new humanity. He was the Savior of the world. Now you can Google it, you can go in and see Vladimir Lenin's tomb. It is a glass casket, and thousands of Russians filed by that. It says he was. They said he was the greatest leader of all peoples, of all nations, of all times. It says he was the Lord of the new humanity. He was the Savior of the world. Everything written in the past tense. I thank God we've not gathered here to celebrate that Jesus Christ lies in some fancy casket. I serve a risen Savior, a resurrected hope. And the churches of Christ are sharing that light of a resurrected hope up and down the East Coast. That's why our team, 5,000 investors, we have plowed in the last 8 years $565 million into 240-some churches. As we said, in those 8+ years, there's now more than 60,000 new people going to church in just 8 years, with 18,400-some baptisms in 8+ years. Let me say, with Southwest Church, where's Brother Christopher Bradley? Where's Brother Christopher? Right there in the second row. 13th Street. The banks were hovering. The eagles in the Eagle Bank and the other folks were flying overhead. They had circled in. They're going to claim that property on the corner, right? They'd already taken 2 houses next door from you. Now they're going to take the big boy on the corner, and they called us, and I said, don't sign that paper tomorrow. I got 2 other calls. I said to the treasurer, don't sign that paper. It's going to cost you $40-some thousand. We flew in there in a few days. We bought that note from the bank, rescued them, and saved them $4,300 a month on their property. You know what? They hired me. I said, now go find you a good preacher, and guess what? God raised up Brother Christopher, whose name means Christ bearer. We went down there to Woodland Park, and I went in over there. How many of you have been to Woodland Park's old place there on the hillside?
Yeah.
You know, when you get out there on the parking lot, you want to look for the road. It's like a ski chalet on the hillside. I kept saying to Brother Elmer, I said, Elmer, how many cars a year do you lose down that driveway? I went out there and I got a hold of that rope, and I said, I've got to find me a rope to the door, sort of like a ski chalet. Let's find you a flat parking place someplace. He went over and we found the building. I'm telling you, how many of you have been in Woodland Park's new facilities? Isn't it awesome? Isn't it beautiful? We're going up and down the coastline looking for congregations. The Lord family, I think we found you a nice lakerage over there, didn't we? They had 140-some people in a funeral there the other day. And I want to say this one. Where's Joseph Sr. at? Right here. He's a gatherer. He's looking up and down. I said, now you go through this neighborhood and you start praying, walk, me and breathe, stand and shine. And I'm telling you, within 10 minutes, a college kid came across the way and they introduced him to church and said, come and share with us. Now, that's within minutes. The hunger for hope is escalating. They're done with denominationalism. They're done with all the hierarchies. They just want Jesus. Get back to the book. We work with churches of Christ and Christian churches. In the last few years, over 5,000 of us, it's like a Christian credit union. It's like instead of going to the bank and sending that money to Manhattan, we are the bank. And by the way, Christian, 5,000 of us, what are we doing? We're building kingdom. Now Wall Street and Manhattan are building widgets. We're building the church. It's a long time. The devil's had their fingerprints all over that money long enough. Let's keep this circulation. We have no money in stocks. We have no money in bonds. We have completely $565 billion in assets into churches. But the Portland Manual, a fellow who worked with me for years, Scott, Bobby, and Beth are up there, and they were running 700 or 800 in an airplane hangar. And on Sunday morning when the airplanes hang, there was a move of God on that place, and the whole metal building shook. I said, you're paying $13,000 a month for rent on this? Scott. We went and found him and emptied. It's a Home Depot where they built a super Home Depot next door. We bought the old one. We put an indoor soccer, indoor basketball, community center. There are now hundreds and hundreds of kids that come through there a week. And a church of 700 or 800 has baptized hundreds. They run 2,200 on a weekend right now. There's a living God and a loving Savior. I'm telling you, they're done with denominationalism. They're looking for churches that will teach the gospel, the truth and love. If you'd like to know more about the Solomon Foundation, we get no commissions, we get no fees. I want to say this. My family, we sold a nursing home and assisted care center in southern Indiana. My attorney said, I hope you're well diversified. I said, Brett, I'm well diversified. 1, 3, and 5-year certificates at the Solomon Foundation. He said, I serve in the state senate and I oversee the finance committee in your company. The Solomon Foundation is licensed through us. Can I go in and investigate what that's about? I said, please do. I serve as the vice president. He came back about 6 weeks later and said, what can you do with $1.2 million? I said, why would you do that? He said, because I've seen what you're doing. There's low overhead, you're paying bills, you're low risk, and by the way, I can understand these things. Let's plow this money into the Lord's work. Give a great return and a great harvest. Look forward to days to come. I'll be outside if you have any questions. That was 7.5 minutes, right? Yeah. 7.5 minutes.
You have been watching the 2019 Mid Atlantic Lectureship, Changes Ahead, Embracing Change, taking the fear out of what comes next.
There's a seat for everyone on Blackwell's bench.
I'd like you to subscribe to some of my favorite YouTube channels. PKT Max, Humble is the Way, Minute Parables, and also the Church TV Network. All right, guys, talk to you. These are some other sister stations. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment on their videos.
Blackwell's Bench.